Greetings, Guardians. Welcome back to Olympus Alliance. We continue our journey through Ascendant Glory Week. A few days ago, we covered Rising Legends, the first event of this third week of the Ellerite season. And today we're completing the picture. Because Rising Legends doesn't exist alone. Its progression connects directly with the two events we're covering today. Trial of Legends and Sparks of Glory. And ultimately, all three events lead us toward the same question. How many Ascension Coins are you willing to collect? And more importantly, what should you actually spend them on? Because once we reach the Champions Gallery, there are some very expensive choices waiting for us. So let's start with Trial of Legends. This event contains 8 tasks. The first is day after day. Very simple. Log in during the 7 days of the event and collect Titan Skin Stones and Ascension Coins. Free progression. Nothing complicated. Next is Generous Soul. And Guardians, you already know our position here. Anything involving real money is entirely dependent on the player. We can show you what exists, but only you know your account, your objectives and your budget. Moving on, we reach Value Exchange. This is where we start spending emeralds. As you progress, you'll receive Ascension Coins, Season Pass points, Elemental Spheres, Electo Soul Stones, Soul Stones, Aiden Soul Stones, Crow Soul Stones, Artifact Keys, Adventure Coins, Titan Potions, and Adventure Energy. But there is one particularly interesting reward here. At 80,000 emeralds, you can obtain both of Aiden's blazing skins. That's definitely interesting. But 80,000 emeralds is still 80,000 emeralds. Don't spend them just because there's a reward waiting at the end. Look at your account. Look at your resources. And decide whether that investment makes sense for you. Next is Fellow in Arms. Here you're spending energy while simultaneously increasing your guild activity. And we actually like objectives like this because you're progressing your account while contributing to your guild at the same time. The full requirement is 35,000 energy across 7 days. It's not a small amount. But depending on your activity and saved resources, it's achievable. The rewards include Ascension Coins, Crow, and Kendall Soul Stones, Season Pass points, Rune Spheres, Skin Stone Chests, Adventure Coins, Titan Skin Stones, Red Gear Fragments, Electo and Soul Stones and additional progression resources. Then we reach Runic Might. And this one needs some attention. You're spending Rune Stones and Rune Spheres, with the full Rune Stone requirement reaching 750,000. Guardians? That's a huge amount. However, there's an interesting opportunity here. If you're also working on guild versus guild and need those progression points, you can potentially combine both objectives. Instead of spending resources purely for this event, you're using the same investment toward multiple goals. But again, 750,000 rune stones is significant. Don't destroy your reserves simply to complete one task. The rewards include Ascension Coins, Skin Stone Chests, Crow and Kendall Soul Stones, Red Gear Fragments, Meta Cubes, Mastery Crystals, Adventure Coins, Season Pass points, and Electo Soul Stones, Elemental Spheres, Artifact Keys, and Titan Potions. Next comes Behind the Horizon. Here we need to complete 56 expeditions during the 7 days. This one is absolutely possible. Stay consistent with your expeditions every day and you should be able to progress through it without anything crazy. you'll receive Ascension Coins, Titan Skin Stones, Kendall Soul Stones, Rune Spheres, Season Pass Points, Adventure Coins, Red Gear Fragments, Soul Stones, and Artifact Keys. Then we have Tower Trophy. And this is where the investment starts increasing again. The full requirement is 230 tower chests. Your normal free progression isn't going to be enough to complete everything. If you decide to push significantly further, you're going to start spending emeralds. And this is where we come back to the same question. What is your objective? If you're actively chasing Ascension Coins because you already know exactly what you want from the Champions Gallery, then additional investment may make sense. If you don't actually need anything from the shop, why are you spending those emeralds? Don't complete expensive tasks simply because they're there. Tower Trophy provides Ascension Coins, Titan Skin Stone resources, and Electo Soul Stones, Season Pass Points, Red Gear Fragments, Adventure Coins, Mastery Crystals and other progression materials. And finally, Trial of Legends ends with Heroic Discovery. Open 100 heroic chests. Progressing here gives Ascension Coins, and Electo Soul Stones, Titan Skin Stones, Small Skin Chests, Red Gear Fragments, Adventure Coins, Artifact Keys, Mastery Crystals, and Meta Cubes. And that completes Trial of Legends. But now things connect. Because we arrive at Sparks of Glory. And compared with Trial of Legends, this event is much simpler. There are only 3 tasks. The first revolves around Outland chests. Open 10 Outland chests and you progress toward Ascension Coins. And importantly, this objective is repeatable. You can continue opening chests and continue progressing. That immediately tells us what this event is designed to do. If you're trying to accumulate a large amount of Ascension Coins for something specific in the Champions Gallery, Sparks of Glory gives you another way to push further. But that doesn't mean everyone should endlessly spend emeralds opening Outland chests. Again, everything comes back to your objective. The second task is Rising Legends. And this is where the event we covered a few days ago returns. As you complete tasks inside Rising Legends, you're simultaneously progressing Sparks of Glory. Then the third task is Trial of Legends. Exactly the same philosophy. Complete objectives in the event we've just covered. And Sparks of Glory rewards that progression too. So Guardians, these aren't really 3 isolated events. Think of Ascendant Glory Week as one connected progression system. Rising Legends begins the journey with its daily objectives. Trial of Legends expands that progression with larger resource investments. And Sparks of Glory sits on top of both, rewarding your progress across the other events while also providing the repeatable Outland objective. And all of it generates the resource we really need to talk about. Ascension Coins. Because now we reach the Champions Gallery. And this is where your strategy matters. The shop contains multiple development resources, including materials connected to different heroes. But there are 2 areas we really want to highlight. First, Kendall's Skin. The regular Kendall Skin costs 90,000 Ascension Coins. And we'll be analyzing the new skins separately, so consider this a little sneak peek before that video. But here's where things become considerably more expensive. After obtaining the regular skin, players who want to push all the way can target the Skin Plus. And that costs 300,000 Ascension Coins. 300,000. Guardians, that's an entirely different level of investment. And this is exactly why we've spent this video repeatedly telling you to look at your account before blindly completing every task. If your objective is Kendall's Skin Plus and you're prepared to invest heavily, then suddenly Rising Legends, Trial of Legends and the repeatable progression in Sparks of Glory all become much more important. You're chasing a very expensive target. But maybe you don't care about the Skin Plus. Maybe 90,000 for the regular skin is already enough. Or maybe you don't want the skin at all. Because there's another option in this shop that, for us, deserves serious consideration. Relic charts. We have relic resources available for heroes including Maya, Kai, Arachne, and Dante. And there are some genuinely interesting choices there. Dante can be a good option. Maya can be a good option. But more importantly, we're talking about one of the most expensive and difficult development systems currently available in the game. And that's where our personal preference comes in. If we're choosing between spending 90,000 Ascension Coins on a skin that may eventually become more accessible through Outland, or investing those coins into valuable relic charts. For us, the relic charts are extremely difficult to ignore. But that's our account philosophy. It doesn't automatically make it yours. And that's really the message of Ascendant Glory Week. Don't look at Rising Legends separately. Don't look at Trial of Legends separately. And don't look at Sparks of Glory separately. Look at the entire week. Then look at the Champions Gallery. And work backwards. What do you actually want? Kendall's skin. The 300,000 coin skin plus. Relic charts. Development materials. Once you know the destination, then you can decide how far it's worth pushing the events to get there. Because spending emeralds, rune stones, rune spheres, energy and other valuable resources without knowing what you're actually chasing is exactly how resources disappear. Set the target first. Then decide the investment. And Guardians, we're not finished with Ascendant Glory yet. We'll be taking a proper look at the new skins separately, including Kendall, and analyzing whether they're actually worth your investment. So tell us in the comments. Where are your Ascension Coins going? Kendall's skin. Are you going all the way toward that massive 300,000 skin plus investment? Or are you taking the relic charts? We really want to know what the Olympus community is prioritizing. If this video helped you plan your Ascendant Glory Week, support Olympus Alliance with a like and subscribe so you don't miss our upcoming skin analysis, and the rest of the Ellerite season coverage. Stay tuned. Stay sharp. And as always, salute and friendship.